Well, hello everyone. Good afternoon from Toronto. This is Mark Graham with commonsku. Really excited to be hosting this webinar with you all this afternoon, where we're going to talk about collections. This is an exciting new feature that we recently introduced. And the purpose of this webinar was to review the feature, what it is the feature does, why it is we built it, and then also to get into some ways that distributors are using the feature to grow sales, to be more efficient with how they put together presentations and put together ideas. And we're going to cover that fairly quickly here today. I know that everyone is very busy and wanted to just review the feature and go over some of the benefits. If you can see over on my screen right now, I have logged into the distributor version of commonsku that we like to do training and demos on, and it is everyone's favorite distributor, Vandelay Industries. So on Vandelay Industries, as well as every one of your logins, you will now see the collections menu that is located on the left-hand side. And we're really excited about this feature, which is why we wanted to put it into the main line area. So let's start off with what this does. So collections allow for suppliers to build out a series of mini catalogs around various themes. So a supplier can come in and, let's say, build a mini collection around new product ideas or brand names or just inspirational ideas for technology, whatever the case may be. And what a supplier can do is they can come in and they can build around these various themes, and they can build a collection as big or as small as they want. We've also spent a fair amount of time with the suppliers in terms of coaching them on what makes a good collection versus what makes not a good collection. So that's something that we continue to do to support their journey on the supplier side. But as you see here, we've got all these collections organized all by supplier as well as all by theme. And so if you want to go and see all the collections that have been created by Sanmar, just simply click on the Sanmar tab and you'll be able to go and see everything that they've created here. Now, if I click into a Sanmar collection, just using this as a specific random example, the idea behind this was to allow for Sanmar or all of the suppliers that were on the platform, give them the ability to curate ideas that they could put in front of you as the distributor. And the reason for this is that we were really passionate about this idea of coming up with product ideas quicker and more efficient, and to be quite frank, in a more fun way as well. So by Sanmar creating this, that we're able to tap into their creative expertise to curate a collection of ideas that you as the distributor can now come in and add these ideas, all of them or just some of them, into various presentations, estimates, or orders for your client. So that's defining what this is, and you can take a look at all the collections that have been built. These do not represent all of the suppliers that are on commonsku. It represents a good portion of them. Not all suppliers have yet to add their collections just yet, but that's also something that you can be pushing them to do as well when you're speaking to any of your suppliers on commonsku. But there's a good range of them, as you see right here. So now that we've defined what this is and where it is that you can find collections inside commonsku, let's talk a little bit about how you can actually use this in your day-to-day. So one simple example, if we just go back into this Sanmar example, you'll also notice, I should have said this at the beginning, that the collections have been built off of our Smart Gallery platform. So you as distributors on the call know that feature very well. And since that was an architecture that was pleasing to the eye, we thought that we could extend that and give that same functionality to suppliers when they're trying to create a collection of ideas that look beautiful online. So let's get back into this particular rep scenario. So if I'm a rep at a distributor and I pull up a collection, here's one of the things that I can do. I can review this collection. I might be inspired by some of these ideas, and I might choose to add all of these ideas or some of these ideas onto an existing presentation, estimate, or order. So why don't we do this as an example? So let's say I look at this. That hat looks pretty cool. That safety vest is going to be great for this particular client, and this button-down industrial work shirt. If I wanted to, I could have added every idea, but in this case, let's say I'm picky and I just want to go and add these 4. You'll notice I've got a copy to project. Again, same functionality that we have on the Smart Gallery side for the distributors that are sending it to end clients, but this has now been repurposed on the distributor side. So in this case, these 4 items can now be added to an existing project. So if, let's say, I want to go and add it to Winterfest because I'm looking for ways to build up this presentation for my client for Winterfest, I can go and add it to a presentation within a click of a button. So in this case, if I now click onto my my end client project, and let's pull this up, and now you can see on my presentation that all of these ideas have been added. These are all the products that were existing on the presentation, and now if I scroll all the way to the very bottom, you can see the 4 that I've added. Like any product that has been added to a presentation, estimate, or order, you can reorder them. You can change the product images. You can also edit all the pricing. So that part is exactly the same. So that's just one very simple way that we've made it easy for you to go from browsing collections into getting them onto client ideas and client presentations. Now, another example of where you can use this is around building a collection for yourself. Now, we don't specifically allow for a distributor to build their own collections, but we accomplish that by allowing you to build your own presentations internally and add product ideas to them. So some distributors have asked this question, and we always like to respond that this is the cool way to do it. So consider this a best practice or a hack, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of a neat way of being able to leverage the collections feature to make sure that you're taking these ideas and you could share them around the office. So why don't I show you this as an example? So in this case, sorry, not that tab, go over here to my client area here. So since I'm logged in as Vandelay Industries, I have created a client name called Vandelay Industries. This allows me to build projects around that specific client that I can then use to then go and copy into other end client presentations. So I'll show you this as a quick example. So in this case, I want to go create a presentation, and I'm going to call, sorry, I can just put Vandelay Industries, and I'm going to say these are cool ideas for 2018, 2019. Okay, event type, let's say, are just company branding, billing information. That can just stay as a default here within commonsku. So now that I've created this, there's actually a couple ways that I can do this. So this now becomes my repository for ideas. So one way that I can add products from collections is I can do it the good old-fashioned way of adding products. And you can see here that in addition to all the existing tabs that you've noticed here along the top, we've added the ability to add a product from a collection. So this is one way to do it. So if I want to come in here and let's say I'll just use Sanmar as an example because I had it before. I want to pull up all of their collections. I can do so now, and I can say pull this up, this particular collection right here. All of the products that have been added on this collection for refined resort styles will populate. And now I can go add the ones that I like right onto my presentation. So that is one way that you can go and start populating ideas. And the fact that I've added this into my own private client means that I can now copy this over into an end client if I wish, or I can add this from a previous project. Let me show you the other way, that if I want to now go back into let's go on here, under collections. And let's say I'm scrolling through my collections and I happen to see something here from Liquimark because I'm looking for something to do with a writing instrument. Here I can pull up the Liquimark information and I can add all of these because I'm inspired by them all. copy them to a project, you'll see this is now my internal presentation that I've created for Vandelay Industries that I could now go and add. So where we see some distributors using this is if, let's say, there's a marketing person or an office manager or even a sales coordinator that is in charge of creating communal ideas for the entire office, they can now go and create a series of presentations that draw upon the very best ideas inside commonsku. And then a salesperson can then come in and they can go choose to copy that presentation to their end client. Let's say they're working with IBM or with Google or Joe's Plumbing, it doesn't matter. They can go and take those presentations and copy those over into a presentation for their end client. I want to just give a shout out to a couple of suppliers that have done a particularly nice job of creating collections. And this was actually validated in a distributor a couple of days ago who'd sent us a note that had said that collections was akin to personal shopping. So I'll just show you this here. So as an example here, I'm just pulling up one of many examples of just presentations and collections that look beautiful. Here's an example from Origatio. They've created these beautiful lifestyle images. It's got a Pinterest feel to it. And this now allows for you to discover these new ideas and then more importantly, take those ideas and put them right onto a client project if you like them, just like I was showing you before. Also give a shout out to Seven Sourcing. Russ and his team have done a really nice job with their photography and have created these wonderful collections around wood products or just the custom import options that they have available. None of these suppliers are paying me to say this, but I just went through and I wanted to give a couple of examples of things that are inspiring that allow for you to go from cool idea into your client's hands within a click of a button. I also wanted to make mention of the initial presentation, or sorry, I should say the initial collection that we built at SKUCon for those folks on the webinar that had the chance to attend our SKUCon event. What we've done is we've actually set commonsku up as a vendor that is able to create collections, and we're starting with all the merchandise that was produced at the SKUCon event because we've had a lot of people who have asked us where those products were produced. So this is a really effective way of not only finding out where those products were produced, but also giving you the ability to add any of those products to client presentations if you were inspired by any of that merchandise. So I wanted to focus on that as well. So that is, I promised it was going to be a quick webinar where we were reviewing how it is that distributors could use the collections feature. I want to thank everyone for listening into this webinar. Again, you've got the ability to use collections through the collections tab over here, and we really encourage you to take full advantage of it. Thank you so much, and we really appreciate your support of commonsku. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.